one of the difficult things about that role is tone, and particularly in this monologue, where you're revealing that your father killed children, that you yourself were covered in blood, but you're doing it with a surface of indifference. How do you go about creating that moment?
I mean, that obviously, yes, you have different ways, you know, going with this kind of scenes. Either you say it with a lot of, you know, reflection about yourself, about your suffering, about what you went through. Obviously, it's not my matter. I don't know. It's I couldn't do it this way, you know. I think it's I prefer to do it like this, you know. I don't know how to explain it. It's just more real. I think if you do it with a lot of, with more awareness of how difficult it was, and, you know, I mean, I could do it like this. I think it would be fake. It would be more like a fiction. But doing it like this, I think I am closer from reality, you know. Many times, you know, in life you say difficult things about yourself, but you say it in a certain, with a certain distance, you know, because it's a matter of you don't want to cry upon yourself also, you know. You don't want to have compassion about yourself. It's not the right place, you know. She might have compassion about herself alone in her bathroom, but not talking to this man, you know. And also, I think it's interesting to have this contradiction, this paradox, to say those kind of things in that way, because of course there is it's more also it might be more flirtatious too, you know. I mean, it's she gains a certain you know, pride of that also by saying that this way, you know, to pretend that it was not. Obviously, it was something. If you have a serial killer, a father having killed, I don't know how many little children. Obviously, it's a tragedy that initiated the beginning of your life. So, needless to underline it, you know. I think it's more fun to do it like this. But again, it's not something that we never discussed with Paul. And I think when I say pas mal at the end, I made it up. You know, it was not even.
Oh wow, you improvised it. Wow, and it's a great moment. And
well, it's a very short moment. You know, it's hardly 1 second.
Paul shot this, I think, the entire film using 2 cameras.
Yeah, absolutely. That's his way of doing it.
Do you like that?
I don't. It doesn't bother me. I've done that before on a previous film that was called La Séparation. The Separation is a very good film that I did with a French filmmaker called Christian Vincent. And on each scene, but it was when most of the time when we were facing, you know, each other with my partner, with Daniel Auteuil, there would be 2 cameras filming the scene at the same time. In the way Paul Verhoeven does it, it's completely different. It's 2 cameras, but slightly.
They're in the same place
with
different.
Place,
yes,
exactly, with 2 slightly different angles. No, it didn't bother me. It could have actually, because it's like to have 2 eyes looking at you, you know. But it didn't. No, because also I knew that it was never it was a different angle, and it was never the same frame, not the same lens, obviously. Not only the same angle, but not the same lens. So,
are you worried about how this film might be perceived in America? Because when it debuted at Cannes, people were talking about it as a rape comedy, and there were shockwaves here of what you can't do a rape comedy. There is a level of puritanism in America you might not find in France.
I have to say, so far, which is 4 days because I've been here 4 days, you know, I only found I mean, it's not even positive or negative. Let's say most of the time people seem to get the film where it is. And I think personally, I mean, the rape comedy is absolutely irrelevant because it can't be a rape comedy, you know, obviously, you know. But by saying that, I mean that to me there is an integrity to the film. I find an integrity. I'm sure about that. I speak for myself, of course, but it's my strong belief that there is an integrity, and so there is nothing to do with comedy. It's not because there is a huge sense of irony, but irony doesn't mean that the film is comic. You know, it's 2 different topics. You know, and and it looks like, yeah, people get the film where it is, meaning in its integrity, in its complexity, in its disturbance. I'm not denying that, you know. I mean, of course, far from me the idea of denying, you know, how much Verhoeven is on the razor's edge. But I think, yeah, it looks like, and certainly certain people won't get the movie where I think it is, but that's the risk.
Yes.